Hello, sewing friends. Thank you for visiting the TurboPurr channel, where we love the sound of happy cats and smooth sounding sewing machines and sergers. This video is for entertainment purposes only. Today, I'm sharing with you my version of the Stitcher's Garden #2 pattern. You may be familiar with the Stitcher's Garden original quilt. That quilt is taught in many shops. Generally, it is taught as a class with a meeting once every month or so to do one or two blocks every month, and then the quilt is finished after a period of some months. Some years ago, I was out of town visiting a quilt shop and I came across this Stitcher's Garden 2 quilt and purchased it, not realizing what a unicorn it is. I wish I could share with you where you could purchase this quilt, but one of my friends that owns a quilt shop wanted to teach this pattern but was unable to find information about where to get it and get permission to teach it, and was not even able to get the pattern. So the Stitcher's Garden original quilt is designed to teach you how to use different functions and presser feet and accessories that go with your sewing machine, rufflers and the circular attachment, decorative stitches, bobbin work, many techniques. And the Stitcher's Garden 2 quilt falls along those same lines with using the ruffler, um, the circular attachment, making fabric yo-yos, bobbin work, many different techniques. So after doing one of these quilts, you really learn a lot about all the different accessories and feet that your machine can use. These are the supplies that I used, and I like to attach my binding with a serger. I just find it to be a lot quicker and easier. So I attach it with the serger and then wrap it around the border and then sew it with a straight stitch on the sewing machine in the ditch. I also have a picture in this photo of my kitty cat Percy, who is my special sewing helper. Here is a close-up of part of the Stitcher's Garden 2 quilt. It is embellished with decorative colored buttons, and a lot of applique is involved in these quilts. The blocks with the fabric yo-yos are embellished with decorative stitches in different colors. It was a lot of fun to make this. You get to use a lot of different materials such as the rickrack. I attach the rickrack with monofilament thread so that it doesn't show so badly. And then also a lot of feather stitching and other applique stitching is used to attach the appliques. And this is one of my favorite blocks. I really like the silk ribbon bobbin work, and that is the pale purple decorative ruching that you see inside of the heart. And I used a silk ribbon and a feather stitch to do that. This block also uses embroidery floss in bobbin work, and as you can see, there's quite a lot of applique and decorative stitching. So you get to learn how to do all the different decorative stitching on your machine. You could really do something like this on your own, creating your own blocks, or if you had some pictures of or simple artwork, even children's artwork could be used to do something like this, experimenting with all the different attachments on your machine to make something simple and colorful. The only variation that I made in this pattern is that I apparently made a mistake on the width of some of the blocks, and so I came up a little bit short when I was piecing it on the width. So I added a couple of strips of fabric, one on each side, and I have a wide red rickrack running down the side, and I attached a couple of buttons on the edges of that rickrack to keep along with the theme of the quilt. I think it looks quite nice. Quilting sometimes involves some problem solving like this. If you don't cut something out quite right, or when you piece it, if things seem to shrink, there's usually a workaround. And here is another picture of the complete quilt. I opted to go for bright colors. I really enjoy using bright colors. And I purchased many of these fabrics at a quilt shop in Wytheville, Virginia called Boutiques, etc. And So What Fabrics. It's a wonderful fabric store. If you're ever in that area, stop by and take a look. And this is how I put together my quilts, the quilt sandwich. Generally, I like to free motion quilt my quilting, and I have a machine with a stitch regulator. I have a separate video on using a stitch regulator to stipple a quilt, and so I like to do that quite a lot. I also, on this particular quilt, used a wide built-in stitch on the machine for some of the areas that were long strips. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope it gave you some ideas for some things that you can do with your sewing machine's special attachments. If you are interested, I would encourage you to look for your local shop's classes on sewing and quilting for ideas. It's always great to support the local quilt shops. We want to keep them in business. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. Have a wonderful day. Thank you.